Brad Lawler at Home Team Inspection Service. Summer plans to buy a home that's in the Highlands, but heard our show about, you ready? Federal Pacific panels.
Okay.
Unfortunately, the home she's thinking about buying has a Federal Pacific panel, and she is wondering, really, Brad, how dangerous can it be? How much money will it cost to replace it? And we see this
Yeah.
question a lot, Brad. How would you describe the dangers involved?
So the dangers of the Federal Pacific panel are now twofold. First, the first failure, the reason that they stopped installing these in homes in the U.S. in the mid 70s was that the circuit breakers will basically stick open, so which causes them to overheat, which is where the fire hazard comes from. So the parts are not available for replacement. Yes, you can find them on the internet. Yes, they're being shipped in from Canada, but you're still dealing with a panel that's now more than 50 years old. Some of these are 60 years old. And so at this point in time, really what you're looking at is that the life cycle of an electrical distribution panel, and it's time for replacement. An electrician, 5 years ago, electricians were still split. Some would come in and say, yeah, it's not a problem. Others would say, no, we need to go ahead and replace it. Probably at this point, because the panels have aged so much, it's time to go ahead and do that upgrade. The panels are going to be a little bit different depending on the homes. I would say, you're probably starting somewhere in the, $1,500 range to replace a panel, and then it goes on up from there. But I think that the other conversation you have to have is with your insurance carrier for your home. There are some insurance companies who will not insure homes that have Federal Pacific panels, and there's a few others out there. So have a conversation with your insurance agent just to make sure that you know what coverages are available to you. Again, some cover them, others don't now. But yeah, if you got a Federal Pacific panel in your home, it's probably time to talk to the electrician about doing that upgrade.
And prices again range from where to where because
I,
there's
I
a
mean,
variety, right?
it's a variety, and it's going to depend on the individual load, where the panels are, So I would imagine you're probably going to be about $1,500 on up to do a replacement.
Okay, yeah. So just keep that in mind. And one thing, folks, if you have a Federal Pacific panel and you're thinking of selling your home, just know it will most likely come up in a home inspection. So you may want to factor the cost of replacing the panel into the price of the house. There are other things that go along with it, but that's the best thing I can recommend. Yeah, Brad.
Yeah, I want to add one other point to it. Some people don't know what a Federal Pacific panel is. Okay. So if you're looking at your panel, there should be a label on the front or a label on the inside that says Federal Pacific. If those labels are gone, one of the telling points on these panels is that they have bright orange labels on the switches. So if you have these bright orange labels, and if they're pushed to the outside, where most panels, the switch is pushed to the inside to turn it on. Federal Pacific is backwards. They're bright orange tabs, and they push to the outside in order to turn them on. That's another way. If the label that says Federal Pacific has been painted over or has disappeared over the years.
Right. And so between the labels and then the breakers themselves being
Yes.
opposite the norm, but you don't have reference for that part of it.
Right. Yeah. If
Yeah. Yeah.
it's bright orange and is pushed to the outside towards the edge of the panel, then that's probably a Federal Pacific panel.
Okay. A reminder, you can see what our sellers and buyers write about our team. We're very proud of our reviews. You can go to LouisvilleZillow.com or LouisvilleGoogle.com to see our reviews.